Hi, so good morning, everyone, once again. So nice to have you today. So, like I said, my name is Anu, and I'll be your host for today's event. You're welcome to DSN's Datafied session. So, this session is targeted at getting to drive and put optimism for 2023. Like I said, please feel free to drop your where you're joining us from so that we can get to meet you. We're going to be starting shortly. Okay, so while we're waiting for others as we're kicking off, I would love to quickly drop some key metrics about 2022. Do you know that in 2022, the global big data industry is worth $274.3 billion? I mean, I don't know if you are really optimistic about that. That's how big this industry that we are in is as at 2022. So in 2022, and do you know that Google received more than 9 billion searches every day? I mean, this is just telling us about how much data has helped Google as an IT firm. These are just few of the metrics that we're going to be getting as we are preparing. I mean, for us at TSN, we're datafied for 2023 rather. So we also were hopeful that for you, our maybe community members, you're going to be prepared and you're going to be ready for your career journey for 2023. So shortly we're going to be starting. Finally, probably before we kick off, let me also say that 100 billion messages are exchanged on WhatsApp every day. I mean, do you have an idea of how big that data is? I don't know. These are just some of the key metrics for 2022 that I'm speaking to. 100 billion messages are exchanged on WhatsApp every day. And finally, 95% of business struggle to manage unstructured data. I mean, they don't have their data put together. That's for 2022. And finally, before I hand over, or before I just run on into the event of today, big data in healthcare will be worth over 67 billion, I mean, by 2025. So we are on the movement to achieving that. And that's why I said to you, maybe community members, that you need to be prepared, you need to be readily available for 2023. This day, we have put together amazing speakers who are going to be putting and taking us through key metrics. I mean, they're going to be reflecting on our 2022 and how we can prepare our career, how we can become an expert, how we're going to be supporting you in planning your journey, your career journey for 2023. So you're welcome once again. Like I said, my name is Anu, and I'm going to be hosting today's session. So please do well to drop where you're joining us from so that we can make you welcome. Thank you. So quickly, our agenda for today is going to be running as this. We're going to be starting with information about GSN. We're going to be talking about GSN. What are the fantastic news for GSN, and what did we get to do for 2022, so that I can build our optimism into 2023. And then quickly we'll take our welcome address. Then we move into talking about surviving the turbulent time in the tech space. Amazing speaker is also available, is on ground. Then we'll talk about building a tech career master plan for 2023. So our speaker also is available. Then we'll be talking about introduction to career goal self-tracker. Then we'll talk about a special announcement on New Year's big bank event. That's talking about our annual calendar and journey towards our AI Bootcamp 2023. I don't know if anyone here is very, very excited about this. I really want you to put in some bit of reaction in the chat room. Let's see you put up reaction in the chat room if you are really, really excited about 2023. Because as for DSN, we are super excited and we're ready for 2023. And penultimate, we're going to be talking about our feedback from community. We're going to be talking about the recommendations and general Q question and answers. Then we're going to be bringing this session to inclusion. So I don't know if you are really excited about this session. Please just drop it there if you are really, really excited about this session. Without taking much of our time, let's move into talking about DSN, about Data Scientists Network, which was formerly referred to as Data Science Nigeria. And to do us this honor, talking about fantastic thing that has happened in 2023, I'll be bringing up our lead mentor, who we are all familiar with, and he's going to be taking us on what DSN is about, which is what he's going to be referencing. Our lead mentor is on the call, and I'll just quickly run through who he is, then I'll hand over to him. Quickly, our lead mentor, Dr. Olubaya Adekombi, is an award-winning analytics, business, and digital innovation executive. He has combined over 22 years of cognate industry experience in advanced artificial intelligence, digital innovation, strategy, marketing, and data science, and he's been serving this across Africa. So he's an hands-on data scientist, and he practices as a professional, and he supports development of talent in this space. He has trained he is the lead consultant, he's the founder and lead consultant at DSN, Data Science Nigeria, and now referred to as Data Scientist Network, an organization which has trained over 500,000 students via online and face-to-face channels. So he's also the author of the first AI book for kids in Africa, Beginners Artificial Intelligence and Python Programming for Kids. And like I said, also we call him our father because he's an AI and data science researcher, and he has co-authored and published many peer-reviewed academic papers at global AI conferences like NeurIPS, ICLR, AAAI, and CBPR. So he frequently participates in global data science projects on Kaggle, and currently ranks #1 on the Data Science Dojo project. So he has a patent on final approval in the USA for a data science product and social pricing recommender software for low-income prepaid telecommunication users using called numbers modeling. So please, let's make welcome our founder, the CEO of DSN AI, in person of Dr. Olubaya Adekombi. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much. I know it's a great pleasure to join our community this morning as we round off the year 2022. Indeed, it's been quite a memorable year. I'm sure different people have different things to say about year 2022, different challenges, the global meltdown, the challenges that face our industry globally, the massive loss of job in the industry, and of course, a lot of big wins for the industry in terms of more applications, more use cases. I'm sure a lot of us will be aware of a lot of things that are being done in the area of AGI, that is artificial general intelligence, with GPT-3, chat GPT-3, and of course GPT-4 that is coming, and several large language models that are coming in are proving that a lot can be possible with AI. I think we're in the best time as far as our industry is concerned, and one of the things that always characterize the best of time is also going to be a time of great challenges. So this morning, we're going to be inspiring you that 2022 is gone, so we need to prepare for 2023. And preparation is not what you do when you enter the year, it's what you do before the year. So first, before we go into our own story at DSN, let me thank our community members who are on the call. We celebrate you because you have made 2022 most memorable for us. Thank you for being part of all that we did together in year 2022. Thanks for your commitment, your support, your being there, and for being an agent of change in your community. I want to thank our staff who are the engine behind our success, who go all out all the time to go the extra mile, living the can-do value of DSN in delivering learning to millions, to thousands of learners across communities in Nigeria and even in Africa, and now outside the continent. Of course, our very esteemed speakers who have joined us this morning to share their thoughts with us on how to become datafied for 2023, how to maximize 2023 by learning what you need to do to optimize your career path, to reinforce your opportunity, and to deep dive into the best of 2023. But for those at DSN, we're going to talk about 7 or something that happened this year. And the reason why we're sharing this is to inspire you. And of course, it's also a way to tell ourselves that for whatever we have seen this year, we must commit to doing more. And I want to believe that as I run you through these 7 things that happened at DSN this year, you will be inspired to say, I'm also going to make some amazing story in 2023. I want to see those 7 awesome things in your career in 2023, 2024, and even beyond. The first major thing for us this year is about our global expansion. DSN has expanded far and beyond. Now we have presence across all 36 states, both in terms of our learning communities and campuses. And we extended beyond Nigeria to other countries, Kenya, Uganda, as you can see it on the screen. Now we have full presence in the United Kingdom. And of course, North Africa, Algeria, and Morocco. It's a great pleasure for us as an organization to see this massive expansion of our work at a global level. In the UK alone, we're in 2 universities, university cities, and you can see how we have expanded to Ethiopia, Benin Republic, Uganda, Kenya, Morocco, Algeria. It's a great time for us. And as we're expanding in 2 ways. Our non-profit business is expanding, and DSN AI, which is our for-profit business, is now fully operational in 2 countries. We're quite glad about how this vision has found great expression. The second point in terms of great milestones that of tremendous mention for the year. Next slide, please. Is the story that we got early in the year. Though we were selected 2021, but the story came January 2022, where 2 of our products that we developed, conceptualized at DSN, was selected by UNESCO as part of the global top 100 AI products in the world. We're so glad to put Africa's name on the map, not just having 1 product, but having 2 products in the area of AI education, adaptive learning, and of course in the area of optical character recognition system for medical diagnosis using automated digitization of handwritten records. As you can see, we are proud to have this stamp as Global Top 100 AI Center of Excellence in the world, particularly in the use of AI for sustainable development. Now, this credit is to us and to you, our community member, that your affinity to DSN comes with this level of global recognition and global endorsement. Next slide. Number 3 is that DSN has established itself as a center of academic research. Even though we may not be a traditional academic institution, but the quality of our work has become a reference point across the world. On academia.edu, which is the global repository of academic papers, as I made this year, DSN has been mentioned over 10,000 times. And this was a mail sent to us by academia.edu celebrating our repeated and consistent measure, which as at May has already reached 10,588 mention. We're quite humbled to be recognized for this great work. And this kudos goes to our community members, yourself, and our board members who support our work, who amplify our work at global level. And of course, in terms of academic papers, this year, we did a work around African fashion data sets, synthetic data, and this was recognized by Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT, which is the world's foremost university of technology. In MIT Technology Review, our work was recognized. So this is a kudos to all of us, that the little effort to demonstrate that we can do meaningful application of AI within our local context is finding global expression. So it's a pride to all of us, to our community, to our staff, to our board members who go all out to make this story possible. Next slide, we'll talk about our academic papers. At the last NeoRIPS, which is the world's #1 AI conference, we had 5 academic papers that were competitively selected through peer review process to be showcased at various workshops. And this work cut across AI for health in terms of mental health detection, where we had a teenager within our community building an algorithmic depression detection using social media message, and of course, building a chatbot that can respond to anyone that demonstrates depression symptoms. using multimodal deep learning and psychotherapy intervention. This is a great pride for us. We worked also in the area of reproductive health, using ability to use of call center data to be able to help people to adopt right behavioral changes. We presented this as well. In the area of crop recommendation for sustainable agriculture was also another paper that we presented. Then the area of disaster management, we demonstrated how to use machine learning application to manage fake messages, that normally pervade during crisis using crowdsourced powered machine learning application. And the last was celebrating the DSN multi-stakeholder model around how we have evolved as an organization in terms of collaborative research. So these are 5 papers we presented. I'm sure you can check our social media pages and see this. We're quite proud and humbled about this milestone in year 2022. Next slide. And of course, this year, we are privileged to deliver consulting, training, and solution delivery for some global organizations. The opportunity to start a geospatial project with Meta around the use of Facebook data for good to develop health intervention for Africa, which is currently ongoing in 4 African countries, Nigeria, Kenya, Senegal, and South Africa. We just started digital education project for TikTok, which is also ongoing. We're quite proud, and Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, Access Bank, MasterCard Foundation, which is more of internship, Access Bank, Heritage, Flowminder. We're quite really humbled about the fact that we're demonstrating that we're not just training, we also have capacity to support businesses to use data to drive real impact. Next slide. And this year is very important for us as an organization in the fact that global organizations, including countries, are recognizing our work and pairing us with universities. This year, we secured a grant to be a center of AI research as far as education is concerned. It's a funding from Swedish and Canadian government in partnership with 2 West African universities. University of Lagos is the lead, and a university in Benin Republic, where the 3 of us got this grant to work together on developing multiple use cases on how to use AI to enhance the quality of education delivery, evaluation, and optimization across our institution. We're quite humbled about this. This is a validation of how we've evolved to become a foremost African leading research, learning, solution delivery, and consulting organization. Number 6. This is also another story where we are recognized far above some universities in Africa based on the quality of our work. We're actually recognized as number 2 AI Center of Excellence in Africa by German Institute of Labor Economics. You can see it. And of course, all these things I'm talking about are all Googleable. You can take the screenshot and put those details on Google and read more details for yourself. We're quite humbled about all of this. The 6th point for us is the fact that we have now moved beyond just learning, research into building products that can solve social problems, especially addressing the infrastructural gaps in Africa. More importantly, last year, we made a commitment to build AI solutions to improve the quality of lives of people living in emerging markets, focusing on those 2 billion people who are disadvantaged, who are within the bottom of the pyramid. I'm glad that this year we're able to launch 2 of those products. I think the next slide will show you the success of those products. The first is Spot On. Spot On is a mapping solution. It's a geospatial mapping solution that is good for identification, marketplace, and wallet. And you can see the statistics. Next slide. Next slide is about Macro Tutor, which is about on-demand digital education, where you can demand for a personal tutor to teach you on digital education, and you pay per class, you pay per hour, and of course, the teachers are world class. And the intention here is to democratize AI learning across communities, especially parents who may not be able to afford paying on a monthly basis. They can pay per hour. And one thing that made our model different is because a school that cannot afford a computer science teacher or a coding teacher can have access to our own teacher. So we have become more of Uber of digital education tutors. So any teacher that you need in digital education, you do not need to pay for salaries for those teachers. So you can place a demand and a teacher can come teach at a particular time, at a particular hour, and that teacher can teach in 5 schools, and the school will not carry the liability of salary. So these are things that we do to make learning more accessible and more available. And you can see some of the amazing statistics that we have seen. Of course, we are recognized as one of the top AI startup catalysts in Africa, based on our effort to promote startup development and, of course, to deepen our commitment to solution development and training at scale. So the last point I'm going to be mentioning is the fact that our work has gone beyond what we do for ourselves or the product we build, but how we inform policy development, how we drive nation building. This is critical for us because with great power comes great responsibility. In year 2022, we were involved in several projects around things that build our nation. The first in the previous slide speaks to our current effort to work with government on how to use anonymized mobile phone data for disease tracking. How do we help government to use anonymized mobile phone data to address social problems in Africa? And you can see the National Statistician General with our team working with government agency because we are driving for advocacy and to build the national policy on how this will become institutionalized so that we make life good for everyone. The second slide was a project we did that was launched by Central Bank of Nigeria with EFINA on how to understand financial inclusion in Nigeria, where we brought several data sets together and simplify in a very visual, interactive, drag and drop way to understand various dimensions of financial inclusion by region, by age, by segment, to understand people that are disadvantaged, which is critical for national planning and development in terms of areas of economic challenges, capacity, liquidity, health of people. And these have been disaggregated by gender. And this is very important for fintechs to know where to intervene, where to support. And of course, for government as well, to understand people who are bottom of the pyramid, who are disadvantaged, who requires different level of effort. If you are not aware of this, this is a public public platform. It was launched 2 weeks ago by Central Bank of Nigeria. Is what we built at DSN in partnership with EFINA, who are the owners of the data which they've collected over many years. So we're quite proud of this effort, which is aimed at democratizing data access for social good. Next slide, which perhaps will be my last slide for this session, is data fluency platform that we built, which is a no-code platform that allows organizations to be able to map, understand, and plan their data development roadmap. These are all free platforms that we built, where any organization can go to and plan, design, automate its developmental roadmap around how to employ data for enterprise development on a sustainable basis. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is our story at DSN in year 2022. We're excited about 2023, and that is why we have called everybody together today, that this is a time to reflect 2023, have a solid plan for yourself, have a solid plan for your career, and I'm so excited about the quality of speakers that we have this morning or this afternoon who will be guiding you on making 2023 more memorable. For us at DSN, we have massive plan for 2023. You can see our 2022. So my colleague will come later to show you so many things we are going to be doing with the community in year 2023. So enjoy this session, have fun, learn, but more importantly, make sure you are datafied and get ready for 2023. Thank you so much, everyone. Enjoy the session.
Wow, it's been an awesome time with Dr. Thanks a lot, Dr. Bayo. It's always an interesting time listening to you and then also hearing the story of impact that DSN has made over the year 2022. And we trust that our audience, our participants have been inspired with the story of impact that has been presented. And that will be taking us straight into the next session where we looking into how to survive the turbulent time in the tech space. We have our facilitator for today who will be taking us, and it's the person of Mr. Olutoyin Ogumala. So I will be taking a quick walk through his profile now, just in a couple of minutes. All right. Thank you. All right. Mr. Olutoyin Ogumala is an information technology leader, leveraging over 16 years of progressive career to create business value from digital data from all possible sources. He leads the practices of data governance, data monetization, data science, visualization, and data quality management for the organization. His track record includes partnerships, execution of innovative technology solutions, and delivery of large-scale IT projects using in-house capabilities, global partnerships, and engagement of key internal stakeholders. He leads strategic visionary thinking sessions and drives the delivery of strategic solutions with mentored cross-functional and cross-border teams. He has led agile transformation for the enterprise and trained over 180 agile practitioners. I believe you should be excited about this. His career has been sustained by continuous professional development and a strong academic record, including data science for management from the London School of Economics, UK, in June 2020, and then MSc in IT management and organizational change. That's from the Lancaster University Management School, UK. BSc Computer Science and Economics from the Obafemi Awolowo University, Nigeria. He's also a certified self-program consultant, also a certified SAFe Agile practitioner, as well as a member of the Open Group Architecture Framework certificate, which he got in December 2014. Mr. Toyin Ogumala is process and result-oriented. Is committed to continuous business improvement, and his integrity is relied upon by executives to lead people and successfully deliver strategic projects and transformational programs. Can you please welcome with me Mr. Olutoyin Ogumala as he takes us through this session? Thank you. Mr. Olutoyin, are you able to share your screen? Mr. Olutoyin, you've been asked to unmute. You can proceed.
Yeah, thank you so very much. Can you all hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you so very much. You need to enable my other profile if you want me to share my screen and also share my video. But let me try quickly. Oh, I think I can now.
So you can raise your hand without that profile.
Okay, let me do that very quickly. Reactions. Yeah, I think I've raised my hand on that profile. Let me know when you can see my screen.
Okay, your screen is off.
Fantastic. But the other profile is where I want to share my video, yet not enabled. But nevertheless, so that we can save time, I can continue to speak while we figure out how to enable my video on the other one. The other one where I raised my hand. Can you see my hands raised up?
Okay, can you confirm the name on the other profile?
That should be Daniel Toyin.
Okay, thanks.
Use that too. Let me know when done so I can try. Yeah, I think we're good to go. Can you see me?
Okay. Okay, so you've been made a post with that, and you can post it now.
All right, thank you so very much. And let me start by saying, regards and honors to Dr. Adekambi for this opportunity. It's been a friend and a remote mentor, if I may say. I've keenly followed him on LinkedIn and, seeing all the DSN activities that he has been doing and the impact he has been having on the industry. I've attended several seminars or several programs that he has facilitated or served as a member of the panel in Data First and the likes. So thank you so very much for what you're doing for our industry. My dear regards to you and to the team. And thanks again for this great privilege to talk to my colleagues around surviving turbulent time in tech space. I will delve into that. I have just 25 to 30 minutes as I've been given. And hopefully within that period, I will remind a lot of my colleagues over on this call on the times that we are in and the tendency it has to affect who we think we are, how we think, how we respond, how we view our career in the coming year, what we do with the times that we have, and this condition, the state of our mind that we carry into the coming year. That will be what I will be focusing on today. And hopefully afterwards, I can take some questions where I can give some practical example of how I've been able to navigate turbulent moments in my own career as far as tech space is concerned. All right. So by turbulence is that quality of state of instability, common commotion, agitation, irregular movement that is not, in sync with the known pattern. It's that moment, that kind of unselfness, as the case may be, up and down motion. There's predictable situation, departure from the normalcy. That is turbulence. We cannot but remember what the whole world went through during the COVID period. That exactly was a turbulent moment for the whole world. Some part of the world are still yet to get out of that at the moment. So that's an example of what turbulence is all about. So turbulence is that uncertainness. Now COVID is over. And in the tech space, there are a lot of things some tech teams do leverage on COVID, and it was prime for us. A lot of tech tools are being used. Tech organizations make their money, come to limelight, the Zoom of this world, Microsoft Teams, several fintechs, grew up during that period because people now moved into tech. People who weren't tech savvy before suddenly pick up their devices, and we can see the surge. But now things are getting settled. Other form of turbulence is coming into our space as tech people, not only in the workspace, but even in our individual lives. There are some things that the external factors, not turbulence that we see, is influencing in the way tech professionals are thinking, in the way tech professionals are feeling, in the way the space, the mind space of tech professionals are at this moment. The world that we are in, and maybe also in your world in the other side, if you are not in Africa, there are huge opportunities, cities clustering startups coming up here and there, fintech coming up, startups coming up, people doing great stuff. There are also some flow of investment coming to Africa, and though gradually slowing down because of the towards economic recession movement that the whole world is going through, inflationary things going on in the macroeconomic space. So flow of investment is also some things that we've enjoyed up to 2020, even till 2022. A lot of companies in Nigeria, in Africa, having those investors pumping money into their initiatives. Those are the positive sides. Despite that, there are turbulences that we are feeling, and you will agree with me if you're in this space. Some of them are fueled by the post-COVID change in the lingo from scale to profitability. All eyes were on tech, keep our systems stable. We are the focus of the of the CFOs, focus on the CEOs. The tech guys are the ones that are making things happen. All the connectivity, communication devices, configuring people's laptops and all that. The focus was on us. The hype was on us. Then after then, and we obtained some stability. It's now scale. Still, we are still at the forefront of driving stocks. Then gradually there is post-COVID, things begins to settle. Some organizations are moving their staff back to the office. We say it's a new normal. It's not going to be as normal as it used to be, but in some organizations, they're actually gradually settling in. And the CFOs are profitability. They are to, focus on the lines. The cost side becomes very important for them. Inflation and the world economics are not also helping matter. Sales are dropping because of the purchasing power of our currencies. Because sales is dropping, to maintain profitability, the CFO focus on cost. And it's arguable, in some world, in some organizations, IT tech people, they are being portrayed as no longer as a cost center, but as a profit center, as an enabler that is of worth as far as the view of the CEOs and CFOs are concerned. But trust me, in some organizations, they are still seen as cost center. So when they are looking at where to cut costs from, where to ensure that, well, we will call it cost optimization or whatever name they want to call it, they still look at technology and look at IT, including from headcount space, restructuring, looking at the purchases and all that. So those are some of the things that are fueling the turbulences we're going to be talking about. If you are in this part of the world that we're in, Japanism is another thing. For those who knows what that means, it's the things that CIOs today think about the most. How do we ensure that we keep our talents? How do we ensure that we satisfy the need? Ensure that we even get the gaps that has been created, who are migrated to other places. How do we ensure that we backfill in a way that we're not going to jeopardize our business? The business make the IT people responsible for that. Yes, you can explain in meetings, you can talk to your board people that, yeah, you know what is happening, mention tasks, but still they look up to you to go and keep the lights on, to still deliver stuff to the customers and satisfy your clients. So that is also part of what is contributing to the turbulence in our ecosystem. Political uncertainty is there. I was talking to somebody yesterday, and who was telling me, just around this time yesterday, and he was telling me to say, well, he had not been thinking about moving out of the country, but if one particular aspirant for our presidency did not win next year, he's going to travel out. So I was so surprised to say he's tying the stability in the political scene to whether he's going to get out of the country or not. So whether you know it or not, the instability in the country from the political standpoint is also something contributing to that turmoil, contributing to that wind in the mind of everybody, insecurity, not to mention insecurity in some part of the world. Organizational restructuring begins to become another prominent thing. I can mention 4 or 5 countries that companies that most of the people on this call will easily resonate with, who are presently undergoing restructuring. From people who are moving together and becoming old co. I won't say more than that. About 3 financial institutions in our country today, they were never operating an old co structure. Now they are operating an old co structure. What does that portend for tech people? Is it an opportunity? Is it a threat? What happens to somebody that was the CIO in the subsidiary? Now we have the old co moved together. We have 4 CIOs now at the holdings and all that. That's just an example. Organizational restructuring is also something that is coming as a result of the settlement from the post-COVID era. That also creates some certain unsettlement in the ecosystem of the technology people. Not to talk about the fact that in Africa, we do get in high volumes the foreign investors moving in money because of the opportunity of technology innovations in the country. That has gradually slowed down. A lot of people have built, they've invested into tech companies, they've resigned from their work, moved to go and join certain organizations. And because of the drain in the inflow of investment in those organizations, you see a lot of tech people gradually losing their jobs. You know what happened early in the year that we are in, how one of those people that normally employ talents for organizations, how they're, intermediate down to low developers, about 100 plus of them, is in the news everywhere, were sacked just in a week. That's also turbulence that we see. Okay, so this state of flux, can be explained by what we call VUCA, and I believe most of us on the call are familiar with that concept. It gives us a state of volatility, a state of uncertainty, a state of complexity, very ambiguous. How do I move? What's next for me? What should I do? Is it certifications, depending on what level you are in your career? Should I change role? Should I change company? What about getting out of the country? Will I get a job? Okay, jobs are there. What about living expenses? Oh, I have families. If you move all these factors and parameters together, and you mix all of them with all the external factors I've talked about, it is nothing but whirlwind in the minds of practitioners, tech practitioners across all levels, whether you are in senior level, at the junior level, or intermediate in your career. VUCA is real. The mind, the environment is vocacious, if we may say that. All right. Having talked about that, how do one survive? What do I need to do, even beyond surviving, so that I can thrive, I can fly the waves, I can ride the waves, and still be able to not only keep my head above the water, but shine, but prevail, but come out shining, come out stronger? What's the state of mind I need to have? What are the things I need to hold very strongly if I will survive, and not only survive, but thrive? Now, surviving this VUCA moment calls for proper understanding of what is going on. I've explained what VUCA means. Volatile change is rapid, violent, uncontrollable, uncertainty, unpredictability, fear in our mind of missing a complex situation, ambiguous situation. It could lead us to be demotivated, anxious individuals, and that is detrimental to our output. If you are unsettled as a person, your teams will see it clearly, and it will affect your delivery. It will affect your plans, because you will be like yo-yo, just dancing like leaf on top of the water. It can distort career plans and aspirations. It can make people to make some foolish choices because it's done hastily. It can lead to stress and culminate into health issues, fatigue all the time, forgetfulness, not bringing your A game to the table all the time. Not because you don't want to, but there are troubles all around in the mind, because as far as state of your professionalism is concerned, you are in doubt. It could also lead to emotional instability and self-distrust. Your mates are doing X, Y, Z. You are doing ABC. You are yet to even complete that. Another thing has come. The technology trends is just coming, throwing itself at you. The technology you are trying to build before you even complete it, depending on which environment you are, somebody's already talking about end of life. You don't even have the mouth to go back to your sponsors and say that we only have to use this thing for next 3 years before another technology override it. It's overwhelming. It could disorganize, distort, even internal culture beyond individual mindset. The internal culture of the organization could be distorted because people begin to just react based on the external factors that they are having, forgetting the value systems, not intentionally, forgetting the culture that the organization holds very dear. VUCA in the tech space is real. All right. To ensure that as practitioners, we keep our head and we are protected against all the ballads of this volatility, uncertainty, ambiguity that sometimes throw themselves at us. There are a few nuggets I'm going to share, gleaned also, and I will add a couple of examples, practical examples to how I have been able to apply them to certain situations that threw themselves at me without going into some details. For volatility, unsettlement, one of the things that individuals need to do at the beginning of, I mean, at the end of the year like this, as we begin to start the next year, if you don't have it before, your personal vision needs to be created. And let me assume you have one, maybe your 5-year plan that you had some time ago, your 3-year plan that you reviewed last year. That needs to be revisited. And like a stethoscope, you need to take it and project into the you that you see, irrespective of what happens around you. For example, you had made up your mind that by next year, that was 3 years ago, you are going to be leading a team. That's your goal, because you were just starting your career then, and your goal is, I'm going to be leading a team, say a team of data scientists. Narrow down. See, I'm going to be a team lead because I would have honed my skill in data analytics, machine learning, deep learning, computer vision, algorithm development, so that other people can learn from me and I can strategize. I want to be a team leader. Now, there is disruption. There is volatility. There is restructuring within your organization. And they are thinking, we are going to move some people from the data team and move them to business, for example. You are hearing that as a corridor conversation. If you don't have your vision very clear and succinct in your mind, that wave will carry you away. You'll be thinking of, let me go and do ICANN. Let me go and do ACCA, because now I am going into business. I just use that as an example. But as professionals in the tech space, one of the things that will help you is with the tools of the trends, the skills you've acquired before, what you love doing, and your understanding of where the world is going. You need to have a clear vision that come rain, come shine, there is the stethoscopic view of the you that you see in the near future. Number 2 is accept and embrace change as constant. When they restructure in your organization, if you have the mindset that, hey, change is normal, you will not be tossed here and there. the disposition you will have towards it will be different. After all, you don't care. Change is normal. Have that mentality. Then volatility will not get to your emotions or get to your mind. I talk about setting vision. Also, make your goals smart. Flexibility is very important. Yes, I want to lead a team of data scientists in the X amount of years. Why not losing my focus and vision? There is restructuring. It shouldn't break me. Rather, I should continue to say, I want to lead team where I'm going to. I will perform exceptionally well to own my skill of leading team. Though I'm not going there again as a data scientist because of the restructuring. While I'm looking for other opportunity, I will ensure that my vision of leading team still goes with me despite the restructuring. You will see such a person more stable, unmoved, unbewildered by whatever VUCA is moving around him. Counter this volatility with serious vision. So this is an opportunity for you. What are your goals for 2023? And people set New Year resolution. I'm not talking about those flimsy things that are unachievable that people just write down. And by February, they've thrown them in the bin. Second thing is fight ambiguity with agility. I've mentioned that. I won't dwell too much on that anymore. Adaptability is very, very key. Do not be a dried fish. I know someone who has been on a roll for 10 good years. 10 good years. And I'm not joking. I know her by name. I know the department she works for. I met her in my organization. So opportunities have come our way. And she will just be like, no, I can't go and do that. I'm for example, an auditor or an accountant. And opportunities come that an accountant can also do, an auditor can also do. And that's why I said that have a stethoscope. If you have a stethoscope, irrespective of where you are, you keep navigating towards that the you that you see in the future. So your goal must also be flexible and agile. You must be agile with it. Then crystal clarity about what you say is also very important to your team members. If you have clear direction as an individual, but you lead a team of cluttered people, you might also suffer from the VUCA. Ability to transfer that stability and focus and direction that you have as an individual to your team also matters. As a professional person in the tech space, all the stakeholders are looking up to you to steer the vehicle of the team that you manage or the team that you belong and make it stable during the turbulent moment that we are in. The ability to clearly communicate that vision that you see and promote teamwork, collaboration will definitely help your team. And because your team is focused and unmoved, it will also help you psychologically. And finally, uncertainty. I should have even said that first. Most people create problem that doesn't even exist because they don't understand. They just take on the buzzword and get confused. No dissection of what exactly does this mean? Will it affect me? They're talking about, oh, one restructuring is coming. They're talking about investment is going to be withdrawn from your organization. They're talking about insecurity in the country, for example. And people listen to the news, get hyped up by what the newscasters are saying, analysis creating negativism all around. And they allowed such to be the dictator of what they think or who they think they are or what they think their future is going to be. That is killing. You've got to approach every issue or every turbulent moment you're having around you with understanding. What exactly is the issue? Is this problem me? Do I have habits that is inhibiting my progress? This corridor talk of restructuring they are talking about, is it about me or about the organization? What exactly is it going to do for me? What changed really? Is it truly my problem or something that is beyond my control? Understanding the situation that is VUCA in nature around you will help you better to be able to take a position on how to address it. Do not just take people's interpretation of that situation and run with it. Ask questions. Sit down and evaluate it. It might not be a thing. Do not die ahead of the bullet. Do not begin to take medicine ahead of an headache that is not yours. So having proper evaluation of the situation will help you to keep your head down. And that comes from following what's going on in your industry, like what we're doing now. Follow these seminars, know listen to other people talk around what is going on. It will shape your understanding, different perspectives, and you will be able to make informed decisions around how to handle the turbulence that you might be going through. Finally, I have learned to see that in turbulence, there are opportunities. COVID was turbulence for a lot of people. It was opportunities for lots of people. Restructuring is turbulence for a lot of people. It's opportunity for some people. The fact that some people are leaving the country, brains are leaving the country from countries, it's stress some people. It's also an opportunity for some people, if you know what I'm talking about. And on and on and on and on like that. I don't know the things that you see are worrisome around you as a professional at this moment. I might have not given your own example because you know what's going on around you. But calm down a little bit and say, what could be the opportunity that this portends? What could be the opportunity that this portends? You've lost half of your team to people that left, and then things are beginning to shake. Isn't this the time to look at automation, perhaps? And the change you've been wishing to push through and people will not listen to you. Isn't this an opportunity to put that as part of the motivation for it? A part of the business case, why they should listen to you for automation as a tech person, for example. That's just one example. You can think around what are the opportunities, the silver linings in this volatility, in this uncertainty, in this ambiguity, in this complex situation that you are. Something is complex because it is not understood by somebody. That same complex theory was created by someone, and it is as simple as anything for the person that created that complex equation. So all you and I need is the understanding of how to navigate. I hope I've been able to remind you of what you know, give you some nuggets or some examples of something that perhaps you didn't know before, or enhance and expatiate a bit more on what you thought you knew before. Thank you so very much, and I wish you a turbulent-free, or I wish opportunity sailing smoothly through any turbulent moment that we might have in the coming year. Thank you so very much.
Thanks so much, Mr. Olutoyin. It's been an interesting time. I mean, learning things around VUCA. You want to talk about things around volatility, talk about uncertainty, complexity, and also ambiguity. I mean, these are very important things that the world has presented us, and we are super excited with the way you have actually shown us I mean, the way you've presented the whole thing to make us see light at the end of tunnel. And we believe that this will also shape how we transition into the next year, how we plan ourselves, how we design our goal, how we map ourselves into the year, and then we're able to get out better in the year. So thanks a lot, Mr. Toyin. If there are questions for you, we can take that after the end of this session. And we hope that you still be with us. Thanks a lot. Thanks so much again. All right, so we'll be moving straight to the next session because of our time. We want to ensure that everyone is getting a lot. I believe you are getting a lot from this session. I would like you to just throw in the fire emoji to just show your excitement around the session that we just concluded now. Okay, I can see people raising their hand. Please, we take your question, or you could just drop the question. Mr. Tony will also attend to it on the chat. And then if there are questions that we are unable to attend to right now, we'll definitely take them at the end of the session. So we'll be moving straight to the next session where we have our next speaker come around to speak. And then she will be speaking on building a tech career master plan for the year 2023. Building a tech career master plan for the year 2023. I hope you're excited to hear this, and then we trust that you also enjoy the session. So I'll be introducing her quickly, and then we'll go straight to our session. All right. So just a minute, please. All right. So Jennifer Oyelade is an award-winning international recruitment business leader, EMEA Talent Acquisition Director, Employability Specialist, writer, author, and mentor. She's a member of the Institute of Recruitment Professionals, MIRP UK, and an organizational change advocate with an extensive career spanning across Europe, Middle East, North America, and Sub-Saharan Africa. As a talent acquisition director, she had spearheaded recruitment and market entry strategies for local and global organizations in Europe, Middle East, and Africa, more specifically Nigeria. Can I take it back? All right. Oh, sorry. Okay, more specifically, Nigeria, Ghana, Kenya, Botswana, and South Africa, with the objective of identifying, developing, and empowering talent. Working with startups who have an interest in the African continent, she has designed and implemented business strategies to position them effectively in the market, attract and retain talent, and design people and culture initiatives for organizational sustainability. She's the author of Career Directional Facility, Writing the Runs of Professional Development, a book that educates the reader on how to strategically position themselves for opportunities in a market where talented professionals are many and opportunities are few. The book also debunks the ideology that career success can only be attained within a predetermined structure. Jennifer has also been featured on BBC Africa, Gist Nigeria, on Channels TV, Guardian Nigeria, This Day Nigeria, Punch newspaper, Business Day newspaper, and The Nation newspaper to provide our expertise on career strategy, organization transformation, employee engagement, and capacity building for future growth. Some of our recognition and award includes Top 100 Career Women in Nigeria 2022 by 9 to 5 Chick, and Top 40 HR Leaders in Nigeria to follow in 2022 by People Home. Award of Excellence from the African Women Industrialization Award, AWIA. As a MEA consultant, she works with organizations on bespoke talent acquisition projects, which includes diversity and inclusion initiative, market entry talent strategy, people and culture design, and organization reengineering and transformation. I think we can just pause it there. There's a lot to say about Jenny. And I believe we are very much excited to have her today. I will just give her the mic to proceed. You're welcome, Jenny. It's a pleasure to have you on this session.
Oh, hi, good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me once again. Without further ado, I will go into the session. Please, if you have any questions, do let me know. I'll share my screen. Just let me know if you can see it. Share screen, where are we at? Yeah, okay. All right. So, do let me know if you can see my screen.
Yeah, your screen is up.
Okay, perfect. So as it was mentioned, I'll be talking about building a tech career master plan for 2023. A lot of the topics we'll be touching on is defining and understand your professional career journey, career mapping and aligning, upskilling in a competitive market, leveraging on your experience using the acronym UNITE, leadership development, progress tracking using the acronym ADVICE, which is acknowledgement, document, vet, verify, infuse, cross-selling, and evaluate, and also teaching you how to make your career bulletproof or make your expertise bulletproof by recession planning and forecasting. So defining your professional journey. So one saying I used to say is that a rocket and an airplane, they have different methods of reaching the sky, but they go using different directions. So a rocket goes vertically up and an airplane, runs along the tarmac, but still goes up into the sky. So regardless of the direction you take, both pieces of equipment still reach the sky. So it's not really about how you get there. It's about getting there. That's first and foremost. So with defining your professional journey, you can't define what you don't know. So you have to understand exactly where I want to be in the next 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. What are my interests? Don't just follow trends because that is what is in vogue right now. That is what is happening right now. Yes, we do all want to be relevant, but we have to be true to our individual selves and know exactly what we're looking for in our career. And your career doesn't have to look like everybody else's. You can be the first of your own expertise by, merging different areas of professional development to create your niche, which I will go into, along my presentation. But you can be the first of everything. So I've given you an example of people who were the first in what they do. So Amanda Gordon, who was the first inaugural poet at 22 to read a poem at the inauguration of President Joe Biden. You have Nicholas Johnson, who was the Black valedictorian of Princeton University, which is one of the most elite universities in America. You have Noel Harris, who was the first Black man to be a student body of Harvard University. I'm sure we all know Harvard. And then you have 2 young men who are Chisik Kamara and Emerez Tedese, who are co-founders of a Black investment fund who provide funding for Black people to start their businesses. So if these individuals can be the first in what they do, that means they have 1 head, they have 10 fingers, they have 10 toes. You can also be the first in defining your career. So when you want to define your professional journey, you need to be authentic with yourself and ask yourself, what does my ideal career look to me? Now, when I mean, what does it look to me? It means, what does it look to yourself? It doesn't mean what it looks to person A or B. They have their own aspirations, but what does the ideal career look like to me? And is there a specific area that I want to specialize in? Being a subject matter expert is great, but what is even better is knowing exactly what area you want to specialize in and upskill in that area so that you can be a subject matter leader in that specific area. Then you have to ask yourself, okay, this is what I want to do. how do I achieve this? But you have to be realistic with your vision. You have to be realistic and say, oh, you can't say, oh, I want to achieve this in a year or 2 years or 5 years, because there may be some kind of constraints that may not help you to achieve that at that time. It could be financial, it could be family, it could be work, it could be just the socio-economic environment in general. So be realistic with your timing in achieving your goals. Now, as I said in my earlier statement, whether you're going up as a rocket or you're going along the tarmac, you will still get there. So stop limiting yourself for time, but have your vision in focus. Then again, I'm talking about the third point, time frame. Be realistic. How long will it take me to get there? What are the contingency plans that I can put in place that even if I don't achieve it within the time frame I have, what other plan can I put in place that can replace that? So you also have to understand where you are at professionally before you can move forward, and what your aspirations are before you can move forward. As I say, there's no rush. Even a butterfly was a caterpillar at one point. It had to go through an emancipation process before it becomes the beautiful flower that we see. And all of you need to have that certain mindset. So career planning and alignment. So with career planning, you have to be consistent in your quest for progression and success. So in your head, you have to know that this is what I want to do, right? We've already touched on that. This is what I want to do. And now we're going to dive a bit deeper in how are we going to get there. First and foremost, as data professionals, you need to understand that you are implementing a trade by barter concept, a supply and demand. Data is an industry now that is booming. I remember 6, 7, 8 years ago, people didn't understand the value of data. They just saw it as numbers, as text, as quantitative and qualitative information, but nobody really knew the power of what data can do for your business. So you're right now in a very fantastic and crucial position. So you need to understand the level of supply and demand. I have this skill set. This organization also wants this skill set. So what can I do to leverage on the fact that they have what I need, I have what they want, and I can give them what they need. So career mapping and aligning is a master skill. And you need to research the fundamentals when you're building your career. So what I mean by researching the fundamentals, you need to understand, this is what I can do, and how can I align what I can do with the organization I want to get into? Or how can I align what I do to make myself visible to the people that I want to see me? So I'm going to give you examples of mapping and alignment so you can understand a bit deeper of what I mean. So my career aspiration, for example, is I want to be a data scientist in the finance sector. So the alignment, number one, is do a professional certification to validate my skills. And not just any professional certification, but one that is globally accepted, so that my employer will know that I have a worldly perspective of data. And not only that, added with my own personal professional development advancement, it shows that I have gone beyond my degree. I've gone beyond the degree in computer science. I've gone beyond the degree in actual science. I've gone beyond whatever degree I've had, but it shows every employer that I am above. I'm thinking above and beyond what my degree is, but where my career lies. So again, do professional certification is a way of aligning what you know with where you want to be. Alignment number two, join a data science community like you have done now. We're on the DSM platform. Now, the ethoses should imbibe your career path. I mean, as the previous CEO was speaking about the various opportunities, the various achievements that as a brand DSM has achieved. Now, this is an organization that imbibes a global outlook. So join communities where you can interact with your peers, be it their senior, be it they be on your level, and you can learn from their expertise and see how you can encompass it in your ability to move into the data scientist, whether it's the finance sector or others. Now, alignment 3 is look for internships. Now, looking for internships within the sector you want to work in will help you build your market intelligence. So it's not just about being a data scientist anymore. The world has gone above and beyond that. It's what is your level of market intelligence? So what do you know about the healthcare sector? What do you know about the FMCG sector? What do you know about, the marketing, advertising sector? Because all of these various sectors use data to make business-led decisions. But if you understand that industry well enough, you can combine your market intelligence with your ability to mine data, capture data, manipulate data to give them the results to move forward with their business decisions. So look at how you can get internships in various sectors to open up your exposure to the business world. Alignment 4 is volunteering. Now, I know a lot of people come across and say, oh, how do I get volunteer work? You can even volunteer in your uncles, fathers, brothers, sisters, cousins, wherever. You can volunteer in any organization that belongs to any sector, because as I mentioned before, market intelligence is important. So volunteering in even a school or even in your alumni, that is still volunteering in the educational sector. So don't look at volunteering as, oh, I am not getting any experience or I'm not getting paid. But that unpaid experience will leverage into paid experience at some point in your career. So upskilling in a competitive market. So as I mentioned just now, leading into this topic, it's not just being about being a data professional. That is not what is going to leverage you in a competitive market, because, I mean, in this network alone, there are thousands of you who probably have exactly the same skill, probably have exactly the same degree, probably done in the same hackathons, competitions, whatever the case may be. You all probably may be relatively the same. But how do we differentiate data professionals within the market? And this is by upskilling in a competitive market. So doing courses, I've named 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've named 5 solid professional development areas to add to your current data skills that can differentiate you in a competitive market where talented professionals are many and opportunities are few. Now, I'll start with business analysis. Business analysis will give you an overall understanding of why you do what you do. A lot of people go into a data profession and they've been given data to mine or manipulate, and you're not really understanding the end goal, the full 360 cycle of why am I doing this. But with an area or a course on business analysis, you will find that how your expertise fits into the grand scheme of things. It will not only develop you for technical professional leadership, but again, as I said, it will give you a holistic view on how businesses work and how your expertise fits within a corporate objective. So even when you're moving to another organization, you can leverage on your ability to analyze their business and see what you can do to help them achieve their business objectives. The second one is business strategy, which is very different from analysis, because analysis, you're just looking and seeing where your expertise fits. But with business strategy, you're getting more of a technical insight, which means that you are leveraging on your understanding of the market, your understanding of various sectors, and how you can use your data to form strategies. Now, where this fits in usually within an organization is maybe if you're supporting somebody in sales, or you're supporting somebody in a client-facing environment, by understanding business strategy and the data you pull from that will help them achieve their goals, because you've given them the data that they need, be it consumer insights, be it behavioral analysis. From a data perspective, you've given them the strategy they need, or shall I say, you've given them the foundation of the strategy they need in order for them to excel. So business strategy is also a key skill to have. Now, people analytics. This is now taking your data to more of a leadership and management perspective. So understanding people analytics helps you understand the trends that form within an organization and reduce attrition rates. I'm not going into a HR perspective, but it's understanding how organizations work. And again, using these analytics to be able to pull in your team, understanding how your team works to, encourage them, motivate them, empower them. And that in itself can elevate you into a leadership position very, very quickly, because not only are you technically sound, not only do you understand business strategy and analysis, you now understand people and how they work. Now, taking it to an overall perspective, now we look at project management. Now with project management, it encompasses analysis, strategy, and people analytics, but it also encompasses budget management, budget control, how to place in contingency plans. Even when you're managing data and it doesn't go according to plan, project management will say, okay, maybe that didn't go into plan, but what else can I extract that can, coincide or that can overcome any kind of difficulties or stumbling blocks that I have. So project management gives you a holistic view of how to not just manage projects that you're working on within an organization, but if you develop that skill even further, it will teach you how to manage projects on a management level. So project management is also a good skill to have. Now, cybersecurity. Now, this is a very unique area where I don't think people as much are using data to leverage on as much as they should. Now, we all know that cybersecurity is a global problem, not just an African problem, not just a Nigerian problem, but it's a global problem. Now, with cybersecurity, and you can infuse that with data, you are gold dust, basically, because with cybersecurity, they focus more on the IT side. Okay, what systems do we put in place to ensure that people don't commit fraud? Okay, what data protection methodologies do we need to put in to ensure that people's data are not compromised? But if you now incorporate a professional development area in cybersecurity, not only do you understand the IT elements of what they need to do, you now know the data element of it, of how to protect data, how to data mine, to understand, and to basically dive into how to make cybersecurity stronger. So by the time you leverage that and going into work experience, or you're going into the workplace, this is a very rare combination to have. So automatically, an organization can even create a role for you based on the fact that you can encompass data with cybersecurity. Or what they can do is they can actually create a department where you're concerned, or they can even make your role very much a hybrid one because you are coming with a unique skill. So these are the kind of areas that you need to develop yourself and divide yourself from the millions and millions of people who are coming into the data space, and everybody is having the same issues where opportunities are not there. But if you're coming with a diverse skill set, you'll automatically be noticed by employers. So I've just kind of made it a bit clearer for you in terms of, the 5 areas that you would need to go into, I feel, to leverage for 2023. Now, leveraging on your expertise using the acronym UNITE. So what I've done here is I've made it quite simple for everybody to kind of remember how to leverage on your expertise at every given time. So first and foremost, use for understanding your expertise and where you fit into the market. So it's not just being a data professional. You need to understand my key skill set, whether it's a data engineer, a data analysis, data mining, whatever your core skill is, you need to understand how strong you are in that area. And even even being a data scientist, there is areas of data that you are stronger than more than others. It's just natural. You can't be an expert in every aspect of data. So you have to understand where your strengths lie in your expertise and find out where you fit into the market and know the positions you're applying for. So for example, as a recruiter, I get it all the time where, maybe I'm applying for a data analyst and you find someone who is just somebody who is just probably coming into the market, used to inputting data and mining it and so on. But I'm looking for somebody who's more strategic, who can analyze the data, not just look at it and input it, but analyze it so you can give me results and say, okay, by analyzing this data, we need to do A, B, and C. So you really need to understand where your core expertise lie, and based on that, where you fit into the market. That's number one. Then you need to understand that and negotiate. So not just negotiate in terms of salary, but you need to also negotiate how do you want to work in order for you to thrive. Now, yes, we were talking about, how COVID had really hit the market, but as we're getting into 2023, I can tell you that organizations are going to start pushing into hybrid working. Not all organizations, but it's going to start coming up. This remote working is not going to last forever. There will be an element of hybrid working. So because of that, you need to be able to understand how to negotiate your working schedule. So I can do hybrid, I can do offsite, and you have to be able to understand your expertise to understand where you can fit in a hybrid, on-site, or remote environment. Because there's some organizations will say, you know what, you can work remotely, that's great. But there's some organizations, depending on the sector and the role, that says, okay, we need you to work hybrid. But if you understand where your expertise lie, you can negotiate on the kind of work schedule that works for you, as well as salary. Now, I'm not saying you should compromise your your work ethic or compromise what you want, but sometimes you need to go back to move forward. So if an organization says, okay, do you know what, we really need somebody to come on site, look at the opportunity you're applying for and saying, working on site, in the long term, will it achieve my goals if I'm surrounded with people who can I learn from, who can I adapt from? What can I compromise in working on site? Or what can I compromise in working hybrid or working totally remotely? Am I built for that? Or even if I am I absorbing enough from my teammates online to get me to where I want to be? So I is for integrate. So everything you learn, right? You're not always learning on the job. You're not always learning in the classroom. You could be learning from podcasts. You could be learning from seminars or webinars like the ones we're having now. I mean, you could be learning from absolutely anywhere. So with this information, you can integrate it into your skill set. Because you've been on these programs, you understand what they're saying, so you can integrate it into your CV, because even if you haven't done it practically, you have a theoretical knowledge of it. So there's nothing wrong with integrating it into your CV, coupling it with your skill set, because it's not completely out of your terrain. So learn how to integrate what you've learned into practicality, so that when you do get on the job, you have taken your theory into practicalization. And that is the way of the world, to be honest with you. For example, you went to university, you read, you read computer science. You may have done a bit of theory, you may have done a bit of practical, but it's your theoretical knowledge that helps you implement the practical side of it. So there's nothing wrong with integrating what you've learned into your CV to be more practical. Now, T is for timing and tenacity. So even, if you're at an entry level, expatiate on your knowledge. Even if you're self-taught, expatiate on your knowledge, and also just have that tenacity to continue to grow. Give examples of work you have done. This is both in your CV, this is both when you're being interviewed. Give examples of work you have done, whether you've participated in hackathons, competitions, whether you have, led teams in DSN, whether any kind of experience, my guys, is not bad experience. Whether you were paid or not, all experience is experience. So you have to give yourself the opportunity to implement that in your work, because it's really, really important to showcase the work you've done. And whether you've done it in a capacity, whether it was measured by a monetary, so maybe, I saved by implementing ABC data, I saved the company X, or by doing A, B, and C, I created a seamless process in getting things done. Whatever the case may be, you need to implement that when you're talking and in your CV. Now, E is for evaluate. You have to continuously evaluate yourself for accountability, because the problem that people have is when they start looking for a job, they now remember, oh yeah, but what are the achievements I've had? Oh, I've done this and I've done that. Oh, I can't remember this. But if you're constantly evaluating, you're staying accountable for your own professional advancement. What courses have I done within the last 3 months? What courses have I done within the last few weeks? Or what webinars have I been on? What podcasts have I listened to? You have to continuously evaluate your professional advancement if you want to stay ahead. Okay, this is about leadership development. Now, leadership development is very key for 2023. Organizations are not looking for people to handhold at this point in time. They're looking for people who have, even if you haven't been in a leadership position before, but they're looking for people who demonstrate the traits of being a leader. So I've broken it down into the various types of leaders that we have. So when we're looking at various types of leaders, we have what I think I mentioned, like 3 or 4. So you have subject matter leaders. Now, subject matter leaders are more, they're more in tune with learning and being a specialist in a certain area. That kind of go-to person. I mean, every one of us must know that kind of go-to person that we know, if I'm stuck on a data mining issue, I can go to person A. Or if I'm stuck on on an extracting, or I need to learn about Python, or who can teach me about Python, I can go to person B. We all have that go-to person. Now, those people are like subject matter leaders. Those are the people who will spend their life and time to engage in that one particular area to be known for that skill set. Then you have the thought people leader who has that kind of nurturing mentorship type of person. Now, that kind of leader will know a little bit about everything, but they're more about nurturing people to be the best they can be. Now, please take it in mind, there's people who can be all 3, but I'm just trying to identify the kind of leaders that we have and how you can encompass various elements of that to be the kind of leader you want to be for your skill set. So the other kind of leader we have is, so I don't know why my screen's not moving, is, the employee business leader. So employee business leaders are, you kind of find them in every organization, the person that wants to help everyone, the person that really wants to encourage and get those people to be the best they can be. You do find them within organizations, but they're not necessarily managers. I would say employee leaders fall into kind of supervisory team leaders. So they have the ability to nurture, but they don't really have the gravitas or the leadership skills to manage a team. Then you have the entrepreneurial type of leader, which are the people who don't necessarily see themselves in an organization, but they can rally people around together and say, you have this skill set, you have this skill set, and you have this skill set. Let's come together and build something unique. These are what I call entrepreneurial leaders. So they're very diverse. They don't believe in too much structure. They believe in everybody coming together to achieve a common goal. And once that goal is achieved, then we build structure around that goal. So that's the kind of entrepreneurial leader that we also have. Now we have the employer business leader. So employer business leaders are the leaders that I'm talking about, in the sense of these are the managers, these are people who strive in environments that are structured. They are more of a 9 to 5. They more like to thrive in an organization that have standard operation procedures. We need to go through the right channels. They're more structured and more governed by policy. And those are the employer business leaders. So we have different types of leaders. And if you focus on developing your personal skills, your communication skills, your ability to engage with people, your ability to understand where problems are and find a solution, you can find yourself as one of these type of leaders, or you can pull various aspects of those leaderships and define yourself as your own leader in a niche market. So I have this acronym about leading. So to lead, you have to be mean. So when I mean mean, I don't mean horribly mean, but to lead, you have to be mean. So mean stands for managing expectations. So communicate effectively what you want from your team and what you will give to your team. Managing expectations, even as an employer, as an employee for 2023, is very key, because as internal stakeholders, external stakeholders, they don't have time to read mixed messages. What they need are people who are going to be assertive and tell them and ask, what is it that you want me to do? This is my job role. What do you want me to achieve? And an effective manager will also communicate that back to you so that you know what to expect in a new role or in a role at all, and empathize. So show concern with your team members, work with them. If anybody is struggling in a particular area, help them in that area, because what that does is not only does it increase your knowledge in the area that they lack, but again, you are indirectly developing leadership skills to help a larger audience. And A is appreciate and applaud. So if somebody in your team does good work, applaud them and appreciate them for that, because it shows that you are a team player. Every organization is looking for a team player, people who can be inclusive and collaborative in the way they work. And N is for nurture. So you're not only nurturing your own growth, but nurture the growth of the people around you. Like a community like DSM, you all nurture yourselves in order to be better. So nurturing is a form of leadership. Nurturing is a form of development. So implementing these in your quest for career success is very important. So again, I've just broken it down in a clearer form of what mean means. So the next slide, progress tracking using advice. So progress tracking, I've mentioned it a bit in, in previous sessions, but in previous slides, but progress tracking, I can't stress how important it is to monitor your progress. I would say, like in a month, you should do it like fortnightly, monthly, and quarterly. Because if you do it like that way, you are less likely to drop the ball. A lot of the times we drop the ball in our quest for success because we do not hold ourselves accountable more frequently. We don't track our process. But if you hold yourself accountable, it will regularly heighten your focus. So if I know I'm supposed to complete something within the next month, and in 2 weeks' time, I know I haven't started, I have to hold myself accountable that I have 2 weeks in order to complete this. And if I can't, then move the baton a little bit further. But don't move it so far that you then lose track and lose focus. So holding yourself accountable regularly, it heightens your focus. Then make sure you're achieving the goals you set for yourself and have the right tools to do so. So for example, if you want to, participate in a particular course, or you want to learn a particular skill, now you need to ask yourself, what resources do I have to do so? Now, it doesn't have to be monetary. You can call upon a mentor. There's a lot of free classes. Engage in YouTube. You'll be surprised at the amount of sessions that people film on YouTube for free. So you can educate yourself with the resources you have. but don't lose track of what you are trying to achieve. Now, everything cannot always go according to plan. I can tell you 2023 for me went according to plan, but at the same time, I had a bit of a curveball. So I had to sit back and re-strategize and say, okay, you know what, Jennifer, I've dropped the ball a little bit. What do I need to do? How do I reel myself back in? So you have to re-strategize, and you have to re-strategize early enough. And this goes back to my point of tracking your progress fortnightly, monthly, and quarterly. If you continue to track your progress using those timeframes, re-strategizing will not be hard for you because you already understand where you've gone wrong, of where you've dropped the ball, and you can change direction very quickly. Now, a lot of the things that we find in re-strategizing that could affect it is, normal things like economic variances. It could be financial, it could be, family, it could be anything. But the fact is that while you're re-strategizing, always have a contingency plan if that doesn't work. So when you're building your master plan for 2023, always have a contingency plan. So for example, I want to do a course in AI, or I want to do a course in product management. Okay, I don't have the funding to do the certified version, but let me go on Coursera or all these other sites that offer free courses. Let me continue to develop myself in that sense until I can raise the funds to do the course I want to do. Now, all of that information, all of that lessons you have learned, all of that courses and academics that you've involved yourself in is not lost. And all of that can be put on your CV. And that still gives a hiring manager the knowledge that even though you may not have had the funding to do the course you have done, you have consistently developed yourself in order to be the best professional that you can be. Now, using the acronym to, track your success, I have broken it down into an acronym. All these acronyms I've created by myself, by the way, but all these acronyms, I would say, starting with A is acknowledge. So you have to acknowledge where you are in your achievements and milestones, and you have to be realistic. You have to be honest with yourself. That's the truth. A lot of the times where we create master plans, we're not really honest with our authentic self. Where are we in our career? Whether it's entry level, whether we're quite senior, where exactly are we? And what are we lacking? But you have to acknowledge where you are first before you can actually move forward. Then you have to document. I mentioned this a bit earlier in my presentation, which is don't wait until you're looking for a new job before you start documenting your achievements. Don't wait until an internship has come up and they say, come and write a long profile of why we think you're suitable for the job, and you start scrambling around. What did I do? I did this. I can't remember this. What was the results of this? How much money did I save here? Don't wait until something comes up before you realize that you need to document something. You need to continuously document, and this is not just your achievements. You have to also document your lessons, and I call them lessons because I don't believe in failure. There's nothing called failure. Failure is a lesson. So document your achievements and document your lessons. And what your lessons does to you, it then gives you another contingency plan on how am I going to achieve or turn those lessons into achievements, or turn those lessons into something viable. It's like when you go for an interview and they say, tell me about a time when, or tell me about something, or what are your weaknesses? These are going to help you identify what your weaknesses are. But at the same time, in that same interview space, you can turn around and tell them what you learned from it and how that turned into an achievement. So you always have to document these things, not just for the sake of your CV when you're looking for another job, because you have to document your achievements so that you are a results-driven data professional. I implemented this. I advised this. I did, so you're not only documenting your achievements for your CV purposes, you're also giving yourself that pat on the back to say, yeah, this is what I've done, and I should be proud of this. And this is what I now need to up the ante to achieve for 2023. So these are the reasons for documentation. Now, vet and verify. So careers, as we know, they're not built on alone. You know, you have mentors, you have people around you. Engage with your mentors and people around you to kind of vet where you are, because not only does that give you the confidence, but they can also help you identify areas in which you need to improve. So always look for, you know, constructive criticism from people around you to vet and verify your expertise, to vet and verify what you documented, and to also vet and verify where you are in terms of acknowledgement, because you might have even achieved more than you think you have, but until you vet and verify, you may be none the wiser. So I is for infuse. So everything you learn, I think I mentioned it in a previous slide as well, everything you learn, be it in a webinar, be it in a classroom, be it on a podcast, as far as you understand it enough to implement it, then infuse it in your CV. Now, we're not saying that you're lying, but we're saying that you have understood. We go on classes, we go on courses to understand. We get marked, we get certifications, we get, you know, certificates of completion, any kind of training or anything you have done where you have passed successfully and you've understood it, infuse that in your job role, because you have learned it enough to implement. So continuously infuse what you learn into your CV, into your mind, so that even when you engage with professionals, be it senior, you can talk confidently about what you know. At the end of the day, your CV is a document that sells yourself in a room where you're not present. So you have to be, it's imperative that you infuse everything you know into your CV. Now, C is for cross-selling. So cross-selling is very fantastic, especially for you guys in the data space. So when you're cross-selling your skills across various sectors, because there's no sector on this planet that does not use data. So now you need to be able to cross-sell your expertise across multiple sectors, across multiple departments. So you have to learn where your strengths lie. So not just where your strengths lie as a data professional, but where your strengths lie in a personal perspective. So for example, a lot of people may not be, you know, client facing or people facing, but they have the data skills to support the back end of a role that will give people in the front end enough data to do their job well. I think I mentioned it previously in a sales role. And then you might have people who are client facing who have said, okay, I can cross-sell myself and put myself in a position where my data will be useful to C-level executives, to people on the field, in market research positions that are client facing. So when you're cross-selling your skills, understand where you feel you will thrive in terms of environment and use those skills to adapt into every single environment. So for example, using data to adapt into the healthcare sector, knowing how many people had COVID last year, how many people were hospitalized, then we work with field operators to understand that the data they collect, manipulate it, create it into reports. So you can use data to work in the front end and in the back end, but you as a professional need to be able to cross-sell yourself to understand where you fit in terms of being a front-end data professional, a back-end data professional. All of these things are things that you need to think about when you are developing your master plan for 2023. And again, E is evaluate. So provide a SWOT analysis on your progress. So what are my strengths in terms of my achievements? What have I been able to do to get to where I want to be? Now, what have been my weaknesses? I mentioned this again, but you're looking at weaknesses in terms of your actual progress. So what have you lacked? So you may lack attention span, or you may lack the fact that you haven't, you know, dedicated as much time to developing your craft as you should, or maybe you haven't focused as much on Python as you've done on Panda, or whatever the case may be, but understand what your weaknesses are. And then O is for, I would use is for opportunities. So what opportunities could you have come across that you have missed based on the fact that you just not felt that you were ready. We've all had that time where we've come across opportunities where we said, I beg, I'm tired, I'm not sure if I can do that. Or, you know what, I'm not sure if I can do that. Or, you know what, maybe I'll do that tomorrow. Or maybe person A can do it or person B can do it. But you see, passing that opportunity over to person A and B may elevate them to their next career. And then when you see them in another level, in another job, you'll be wondering, oh, how did you get there? Or how did you get there? How they got there is because the opportunity you missed, they capitalized on it to elevate them to their new career. Now, T is for threats. What threats are there to your sector, to your expertise? I can give you all one threat right now, and that threat is not diversifying your skill. If you don't take advantage of areas that have not been discovered, i.e., I mentioned cybersecurity, I can also mention things like, coupling data with finance, or, if there are opportunities that you are not taking advantage of, that is going to be a threat to your career progression, because people are going to jump on it before you. And then again, you will find yourself again in a pool where there's so many talented professionals that share the same skill set as you, and you now be looking for another way to differentiate yourself in a very competitive market. So I've just kind of, put it in cleaner form. So acknowledge, document, verify, infuse, cross-sell, and evaluate. Okay, so building a bulletproof career, bulletproof your expertise for recession planning and forecasting. So we all know, as I mentioned before, that this economy is very unstable. So you always have to be ahead of your game. And being ahead of your game is take out time, apart from Netflixing and chill, you can read articles, listen to podcasts, listen to international leaders who are talking about trends, even data companies, IBM, different kind of companies that are infusing data, that are talking about new projects, new software that they're working on. You need to listen to these people. You need to listen to this information, because it's from that information that you're going to use to forecast what is coming up in the future and prepare your technical skills to be ready for when that system rolls out. I remember, a time before people were using, I'm going to speak from a HR perspective now. Before people were using systems like PeopleSoft, organizations were, industry leaders were talking about it for a long time. And what it took people to do is, what is PeopleSoft? Where can I find it? How can I understand how it works? And people will do certain courses in PeopleSoft. So when they're now recruiting, they say, oh, I have intermediate or expert knowledge of PeopleSoft. Guess who is going to get the job? It's the people who have forecasted what the trends are and have worked and developed their expertise to add that as a feather to their cap. So what you need to do is identify trends, upskill early, and master that skill before it becomes sought after. I'm sure in your job search as well, you will see that there are certain skills that our companies are looking for from a technical perspective, whether it's SaaS, whether it's, there are different kind of skill sets that organizations are looking for. And they didn't just start looking today. That's what I want you guys to understand. It's become more apparent today, but if you are listening to the companies and the industry leaders, they probably have been talking about it for the last 6 months to 1 year. So you really need to be able to be on top of it. Research organizations who are imbibing an innovative workspace. You have to be on top of the trends when you are building your master plan for 2023. I hope I haven't bored you, because I've talked quite a lot today. But if you want to connect with me, I would say the best place is LinkedIn. I'm more active on LinkedIn. Twitter, I'm still kind of, but I would say the best place to connect with me is LinkedIn. I share industry tips. I talk about how to strategically position yourself for opportunities, CVs, career development, organizational structure, name it, I talk about it all. So I hope you enjoyed my presentation. Any questions, I'm still here and very available to answer. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Once again, thanks a lot, Jenny. It's been a great time with you, and I can see a lot of people, a lot of comments already going into the chat, and then a lot of questions I believe will also start coming up. I can see people raising their hands already. We know that you will have a lot of questions to ask Jenny. Please just try to drop your question in the chat. We'll pick it up. And then maybe we could have a bit of time at the end of the session where we could take additional questions for them if they are still on the call. I know some may have questions for Toyin, and then some might have for Jenny. Just stay with us, hang on with us. We are moving straight into the next session, and then let's just get into it. Thanks a lot, Jenny. I know you talked about so many things.
I know, right? At one point, I was thinking to myself, I hope everybody's still following.
Yeah, we follow. Thanks.
That's good. Great. No, I'm here to the end. So by all means, when it comes to the questions, I'll be ready to answer.
Yeah, great. Thanks a lot.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll be going straight into the introduction of the career goals self-tracker. Why we're doing this is because a lot of things that we've noticed, I mean, you know, a lot of people make New Year resolutions, just like some of our speakers have also mentioned. I mean, millions of people globally make New Year resolutions, and then you discover that most of these resolutions made are, I mean, eventually get dropped along the way. They don't scale, and this trend continues year in, year out. And we've also noticed this among our community members and then so many other people that we've come in contact with. And so this, while you will see someone who was about 3 years ago a data enthusiast, or maybe a data engineering enthusiast, or a data engineering beginner, or a data scientist beginner 3 years ago. And today, if you ask them, they are more like still an enthusiast. They've not grown. So why does this keep happening? So it's one of the things that we've noticed, and is why we've came up with a solution that could be of to everyone. So we've made it available on the event page as well, where you could just go to check it out. So I will just run you through a quick. I'll also run you through a quick demo of the app. Of the solution where you could just start working on. It also has its own mobile application. You can download it to your desktop or PC just to give you instant notification, because you can as well set due date and many other things. But most importantly, the journey into 2023 starts from your mind. You must have something that takes you into the journey. You need to imagine it with all your mind, believe it with all your heart, and then achieve with all your might. So this is also takes us to being able to roadmap yourself from your mind. Like being able to just space out yourself, be able to double click in every area of things that you want to actually achieve, to see what are the elements, what are the inputs that must go into it, that takes you into the year and then helps you achieve all your goals for the year. So we'll be looking at how you can mind map into the year 2023, and then you blow everything up and then you achieve all your goals. Right, so we have something we call career goal setting, 3 by 3 by 3. What do we mean by that? Is actually what you can see on the screen. So there's something that captures 3 goals in 3 months, and then looking at, working with 3 partners, or what we call accountability partners. So you need to set 3 goals for each quarter. So we're going to break it down into 3 quarters, but make sure that you don't go beyond 3 months for each of the quarters. And we'll go straight into that now. So if you notice, you could see four quadrants on the screen, where you could see each of the quadrants having one goal, 3 goals each. So you have go 1, go 2, go 3 for the quarter 1. Quarter 2 also has its own 3 goals. Quarter 3 has 3 goals as well as quarter 4. So you need to bring 3 goals into each of the quarters. And when you have done this, you will realize that you will be able to manage it more effectively because you have people that are also tracking with you. So we move straight. This is the platform that we'll be using. So we have career goal setting and tracking using Taskade. Taskade is a task management platform. It's also used for goal tracking, goal setting, and goal management. That helps you, it gives you notification, it helps you build, it helps you bring people to come see what you've done or what you set out to do. And then you can even go as far as having video conference with your mentor, with your partner, or with your accountability partner, whereby you're able to review, evaluate, and then do a lot of things on the platform. So it comes, I mean, it's a great solution that you really enjoy as we go into the year 2023. So if you can see my screen, if you can just scan the code, it takes you straight to the solution that the template that we've created. And then I'm going to walk you through a simple career roadmap that we've created for a data science beginner. It's just a simple one that we've created for a data science beginner. So I will share this screen and then share my other screen now. It's just a moment. All right. So the link to that one will be shared with you just in a moment. But I'm going to walk you through this one. I can see a lot of hands up already. Please just hang on a minute. Yes, you can drop your questions on the chat. We'll pick them up. All right, if you can see my screen, you will see something like the DSN year, DSN AI Community Year 2023 Career Goal Tracker. Now, this is the templates we've created, which you can utilize. So you can work with this. So what we're going to do quickly, because, sorry, just a moment. Okay, so what we're just going to do now, I will expand them so you see what it looks like. You will see what it looks like. All right, so I will expand. This is for quarter 1. Remember, I mentioned that we need to break the year into quarters. So you break 2023 into four quadrants, and then you put all your goals, all those three goals into it. Now, this is quarter 1. What do we have in there? If you look at it, so the guy is saying, I want to attend a data science conference or workshop to learn about the latest trend and techniques in the field. Now, this is, like I said, is a beginner roadmap for now. So he's saying, okay, I want to attend a conference. That is, and then it's set a due date of January 29. That is, at the end, by January 29, I must have attended those conferences, learned all I needed to learn. And then if you open that up again, you will discover that he has some other element that goes into it to ensure that he has actually done what he planned to do, or that particular goal that he set out to achieve. So he said, okay, I will grab DSN 2023 community calendar. So DSN usually publish yearly calendar, annual calendar for our community where learning takes place, events are captured, trainings, of different, of various sectors and individuals. We capture all of that. And then you could take that up and maybe combine that with other events that are also data-centric. And then you also look at, he also mentioned the fact that he's going to attend online data science, ML, and data-related conferences as part of ways to kind of just journey back to this to ensure that it's doing what it set out to do. And then it connects, he mentioned that it's also going to connect with at least 4 to 5 data science and AI professionals from the conferences. So he's building his network as he's attending those conferences, which keeps him inspired. Because you know, when you attend conferences and you're able to meet with people, you're able to connect with people, you are inspired to attend other conferences again. And that's keep the fire up. So that's for that. And then if you look at the next one, it talks about the fact that it's going to take an online course or tutorial to learn a new programming language or two commonly used in data science, maybe like Python or R, or maybe Scala, Go, and other tools like that you could pick up. So that's the goal for that month. And doing that is able to kind of build himself, solidify his skills, and then he's able to just keep skyrocketing. Now, if you look at it, it kept tying those things. So due date, due date, due date, due date. If you look at the next one from March 29, you must have done all of this. So we want you to also pick this up as a tool that will help in setting your goal for the year. In also tracking. And then I'm going to do something now quickly, which I want you to just follow. So just take that as the quarter one, look at what he has done, try to replicate. Now, if I take you to this part where it's showing lesson learned is able to pick out a lot of lessons as it was going into the year, as it was journeying through the year. It's picking a lot of learning, and it's putting them together, putting them down. Like Jenny mentioned, you need to keep taking notes. Take notes. Make sure you are noting down lessons that you are learning. Your major milestones, you must capture them. They are very important because they go into also defining the understanding of what you have achieved for the year. So you need to take note of those things. And then if you look at it's also mentioned, it's also trying to capture what are the things that he needs to improve. What can he improve across the year? So as he's moving through the year, he's also taking note of things that he must improve. So as you take note of things that he needs to improve, they form the gap that you've identified, which speaks to the SWOT analysis that Jenny mentioned that you must do. So you need to take note of those things as you go into the year. Make sure that you're capturing those gaps. Even it also helps you understand what you need to use and what you need to plan for the year coming up, like 2024. Which those are things that will form what you need to take into the year, so what you need to build on. And one more amazing thing is the fact that you need to also create a list of mentors. The accountability mentor, that I'll call them your mentor for now, because you need to find a way to build them up. You need to build relationship with them. And it's sometimes not really easy to get mentor, but if you're able to do it well, you might get someone in the industry who can mentor you. But let me give you this today. We have a mentorship platform at DSN where we provide mentorship to our community members. So if you have not yet joined the platform, I think this is an opportunity for you. My colleague will also dropped the link for you to join the mentorship platform. So if you're able to join the mentorship platform, you'll be assigned to different mentors that will guide you through the journey. They are industry leaders, experts in the field that could actually guide you through the journey. So just ensure that you take note of them. And it doesn't stop there. If you look at the next layer, it's also speaking to what company do this mentor come from? What is their role? What is the check-in period with them? So you need to take note of those. Those are very important. So you need to know what is the meeting date one. So you must set due date, and then they must also be aware. They must be aware because you are setting that due date, and then you are tying it to a meeting link, which you can put into the board that they can also see. And when you need to have an engagement session with them, you can also bring them here. So what you need to do is just share the link to this board with them. And then from there, you can schedule a meeting with them. You can schedule a meeting with them where you are able to present what you have done. You can present it here. You can create your meeting, just share with them, share whatever you need to share with them. They pick it up. And like you can see, you can invite people to your project. You can invite people to your workspace. Like this one now, I can invite you, I can invite anyone. I can invite my mentor to the platform to just join me. And now I did something which I believe would be a bit strategic, like what I just put here. Now, if you look at what we have here, Dr. Olubayo is a founder as well as a data scientist, right? Now, I picked that as one. Then I looked at other areas because of the goal I've set out to achieve. There is a there's a theme to the journey for me. I have a theme to the journey for me. Building my data science, building my data science portfolio was the theme. It's a year of building for me. And what do I need that should go into that? I need someone that is already established in the industry, who is already a founder or a CEO at that level, who I believe will be able to provide a level of guidance. And then I need someone who is also like Mr. Olutoyin now, the head of data and analytics at Stanbic. I need someone like that who could also guide me in the journey in the area of data and analytics, because I believe it will form part of what I'll be learning along the way. So I need someone who can guide me in the area of analytics beyond just data science methodologies alone. So I might be looking at someone that I can always check in with to, look at what I've done, look at some of the solutions I've developed, and then it could help and guide me on the next steps. Then I need someone who is in the area of talent, who is in the area of people management, who is in the area of HR, to help me navigate my road to the industry. So I am not only learning, I also want to learn what will give me the next job in the year. So those are things that you will be looking at. So you need to look at how you can get an internship offer, how you can get the next job, the next promotion, the next, your entry role, any role that you might imagine, but you need to make sure that you have them clearly defined. Not that alone, then if you close this part, if you go downward this way, you will see list of achievements, and then we now tie them to evaluation period. This evaluation period is where you begin to now look at what were those gaps that you identified then, which you have now worked on, and what were your achievements. Then you looked at what the achievement that you've made over the year. So you begin to put them down. The evaluation period is in 3 phases. So we call that like these 3 phases capture 4 months, meaning that, okay, as you are completing the first quarter, you're also looking at what do you need to do at this period. So at the end of the day, you would have 3 evaluation periods for yourself at the end of the whole thing. Now, that brings us to the end of this. My colleague will share the link to these templates, and then you can make a copy of it. All you just need to do, as you click on that open, then it allows you to go to Taskade, where you can then duplicate this particular version. If you duplicate this version, you are able to edit it yourself, create a lot of things. Open up a lot of layers that helps you to navigate the journey through the year. I hope this inspires you. Thanks a lot for joining us today. All right. So if you have questions, please remember to drop your questions in the chat. So in the chat, we'll pick them up, like I mentioned. Stop sharing.
Okay, all right. Once again, well done, everyone. Good afternoon. So now we are going to be moving on to next big bang event that's going to be happening next year, which is DSN annual learning calendar and also our journey towards AI Bootcamp 2023. I hope we are all excited. Let me see emoji of your, let me expect yourself with any emoji of your choice. Let me see how excited you are about this. We are going to be going to another big bang, how you can make sure that all the learning you have acquired today is actually transformed into skill building and also a platform where you can have all of this learning impacted to you. So this is the overview of all the DSN 2023 learning calendar for year 2023. And as you all know, DSN is one organization that has capability and also who have built credentials in ensuring that learning is demystified and make accessible to all stratas of level, from beginners, kids, intermediate to experts, university students, professional, executives. So we are going to be having our campus community and CIS community across all our campuses and cities, across all the 100 cities that we have, and also the of course 10 countries that we now have our sphere across the globe. So because most all of our events across the cities and campuses is going to be happening most of these days. And also, if you are not yet joined any of our community group, make sure you join. My colleagues will be dropping the link to join our Data Scientist Network community. And also, these are professional events for the next year. So these are the calendar time for all of these events. We are going to be publishing the link where you can begin to book your calendar ahead of 2023 so that you can attend all of these amazing events. So we are going to be having our research event as well in 2023, and also research is going to be one of the key things for us in 2023. And also where we are going to be writing a lot of paper, ensuring that we publish in high impact paper across different conferences like ICML, ICLR, New Reefs, Deep Learning, DABA, and AI. This also focuses in supporting our community. So we are going to be having our research team, we're going to be training community, and also we have our Ladies in AI event. It's going to be happening as well. Okay. All right. So also no code AI event is going to be happening next year, where we are going to be training people who doesn't have capability to be writing code, how they can be able to deploy and write, do a lot of solution via just no code, by just using drag and drop solution next year as well. And one amazing thing that is going to be happening next year is our AI bootcamp. So before I go into the AI bootcamp, as you all know, journey towards AI bootcamp involves a lot of things, where you are going to be having a lot of participation, a lot of events, learning towards AI bootcamp. So before the AI bootcamp, we are going to be having our AI innovation. AI innovation is going to be happening from 6th of February next year to March, where we are going to have a different level of cohorts, where people is going to be participating. These are an avenue for us to bring more people into space of data science career and be able to expose themselves to this amazing journey. So for the AI bootcamp, our AI bootcamp learning journey is going to be starting from 13th of March 2023, where people are going to be exposed to 100 days of learning. We are going to be having study on machine learning, IoT, some of the institute of NVIDIA learning as well will be making available. Microsoft Azure, Power Apps, geospatial analysis, reinforcement learning, business intelligence tools like Power BI, SQL, and how will also be taught during the 100 days of learning. And also for the bootcamp plan, so let me share. Okay, so for the bootcamp plan, we are going to get 100 days of pre-bootcamp virtual classes. So the bootcamp assessment hackathon will be happening this day, and also we are going to be having qualification hackathon on Cindy, and also publication of the finalists also be shared. So next year is a big bang event for us, and I'm very sure we are all anticipating for this amazing thing that is going to be happening next year. So ensure that you follow us on our social media to ensure that you catch up all of these updates, so that you can be one of the first two people that's going to be impacted with some of the information that we are going to be giving out after this session today. So let me
Great. Awesome. Thank you, everyone. It's been a very super great day. Thank you for being part of this event. As you know, I'm sure you've learned quite a lot of things. Very quickly, we need to take some question and answer. I think it's very important to take questions from our community, particularly from our very esteemed speakers who have shared very brilliantly with us at this session. Let me especially thank them. Jennifer, thank you for such a very brilliant session of scoping career, demystifying what people need to know, and of course, Olutoyin for such brilliant insight in how to stay afloat in a changing world of technology. So if you have questions, please feel free to put it in the chat room very quickly so that our very esteemed speakers can answer those questions. But as that is happening, there are a few questions that people have asked that we need to respond to. First, about the PowerPoint. I'm sure our speakers will be very glad for you to have the PowerPoint presentation. So I can assure you that the PowerPoint presentations will be sent through the same email addresses that you use to register for these events. So be assured of that you're going to have the PowerPoint presentation. Now, for the link, some people have asked question, the platform for tracking your career path, is it free? Yes, it is 100% free. And the link has also been shared. And for our 2023 plans, which was presented, I'm expecting that will be dropped in the chat room right away so that you can, of course, see all that we have for you for 2023 as an organization. So it's going to be a very busy year for us. And I'm strongly excited that when it comes to you building on some of the learnings and the insight that have been shared by our guest speaker today, you are well positioned to maximize that. So questions, ladies and gentlemen, please drop your questions in the chat room so that our very esteemed speakers can answer those questions. I've attempted to answer a few of them. If there are more, please can you drop your questions, or if you want to raise your hand and the team can allow you to be able to. If you see the chat room, links have been shared on the DSN Slack mentorship. So if you want to be part of DSN mentorship platform, please, the link has been shared so you can join. And if you want to register as a mentee, the form has also been shared. If you want to be a member of DSN community, this has also been shared. And of course, how to track your goal for the year, this has also been shared. I'm be sharing that so that you don't miss that. And I think, okay, the link is no longer active from, so please, let's just check the links again. For the Go Tracker, I've just shared the link. The session that was facilitated by Abel on how to use a technology platform to track your goal for the year. Good. Can I contribute or volunteer to DSN? Yes, you can do that. Just go to be a community member, and from that platform, you can establish your interest. Of course, we have a Telegram platform as well, where you can ask just any question. This has been shared. I'm dropping that again for those on the call. I just dropped the Telegram platform. So do you have training in data analytics for one who has no coding skill as a beginner? Yes. In our 2023 plans, I'm expecting the link to be shared here right away. We have what we call no-code AI. No-code AI is a way someone who does not know how to code can learn how to do AI by doing what we call drag and drop. Drag and drop, as if you are using Excel, PowerPoint, or Word documents. That is what it does. It's simple, it's straightforward. So we're going to have a lot of classes for that. So please note that. Okay, now there's a question coming for Jennifer. Is it best to put in skill? Okay, there are actually two questions. I hope Jennifer can see them. How best do you infuse your achievement? E.g., you have worked in technical support, but you have learned a lot personally in data analysis and business analysis. Is it best to put in skills section or can you tailor it into your work experience? So Jennifer, that's for you. So if you can quickly answer that question. Jennifer, that's for you. Please go ahead.
Okay, so you can actually do this in two ways. So you can actually put it in the body of your CV. So if I would say if you have maybe like more than 5 years, 10 years experience, then maybe you can create a section called career achievements to date. But you can actually infuse it into your CV, because a CV should be written as a results-driven document. So any kind of technical achievements you've had, any kind of technical skills you have, I would say you should infuse it in the body of your CV. So for example, I implemented a data mining structure. Use very descriptive and adjectives to actually implement that in the body of your CV. That's what I would suggest.
Thank you very much, Jennifer, for that detailed and very insightful response. Now there's a question from Ismail, and I think this question, if Olutoyin is still on the call, I would direct this to you. How do you handle a situation where you always feel incompetent enough to take up a challenge or a role? Do we still have Olutoyin on the call?
Yes, I'm on the call.
Good, 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 good. Let's see your face so that you can respond to this. Good, 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 good.
Yeah, so we all go through that moment once in a while. Maybe you let me not say once in a while. At one point or the other in our career, there's that time, that's that feeling that comes to you that says, oh, am I actually competent? Am I actually good enough to do this? But what I always say to people when asked such question is, can you hear me?
Yes, we can, please. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Okay. Please go ahead.
So what I always tell people when I have questions like that is, number one, you must know your turf. Yeah, if the question keeps coming to your mind about, am I good in tailoring? You are right to tell yourself, no, that is not my turf. I'm not good at that. But if you have chosen, in this context, data science, with what we've had today, you've owned your skills, you've determined which side of data science you want to major on. Though you are yet to be supremely an expert, but you are on the journey towards that side. Whenever any opportunity comes, talk to yourself and rebuke that feeling. Talk to yourself that you are good enough if you have actually owned your skill in that thing. There are valid self-examinations that you will come to the conclusion to say, no, this is not my turf. I'm not saying everything in the world you can do it. But once you make up your mind, this is my field, just as one of our speakers spoke the other time, everything that you do goes into your CV as little addition here, little addition there. You need to believe that for sure what you have learned is, you know it. And also, what can give you that self-confidence is in benchmarking, discussing with other people. Try and get people who can affirm what you have done, people who can give you feedback and give you a kind of a benchmark to say, okay, what is the gap? Once you've done that continually, you will build your confidence. That is for an average person. But if you are that person who all the time you just don't believe in yourself, I think it's a deeper thing. And what I would suggest to you is you just have to know that you can do it. I mean, this sounds like motivation, But I think that is the only solution for that. If it is because you think you've not studied enough, I'm telling you, use benchmarking, continue to document the little gain so that you can gain confidence. But if it has become a persistent thing that all through your life, you see that pattern that you just never believed in yourself, you just have to stop that cycle and know that you are not different from the other people that are doing exceedingly well. Once you apply yourself to it, you can do it.
Thanks so much, Olutoyin. I think the big word as we go into 2023 is you can do it. The feeling of what we call imposter syndrome, where you feel incompetent, you feel less of yourself, you've got to pack it aside. You have all it takes. You have gone so far to be where you are to believe you don't have what it takes to go further. As we move into 2020, just like Olutoyin said, believe in yourself, go for it. We're just going to take one more question as I wait. Our 2023 plan is just one more question, and I'm going to give Olutoyin and Jennifer just 1 minute. And these are to do about career transition. As someone with 10 years experience, how do I transit into data and how can I become employable? I think if we can just give us 1 minute, I think the principle is about career transition. What are the fundamental principles that you need to consider in career transition, especially as it relates to 2023? So Olutoyin will start with you and we'll round off with Jennifer. Just 1 minute each.
Yeah, thank you so very much. The first thing I will say before Jennifer concludes, it's you must first of all know which part of data science you want to go into. It's very diverse. It all depends on where you are coming from. If you are someone who over the last 10 years, you are more of a social person, more of a project manager, more of a people person, more of a perhaps even process person, not core technical. You get freaked out with numbers. That's a profile. That's a persona. Does that mean you can do data science? No. In the field of data science, there is data governance, there is data quality, there is business analysis, there is business. There are a lot of other capabilities that you can come into. There's metadata management, which you don't necessarily need to be a core heavy lifting Python developer. So the very first thing I would suggest for you is find some time and you can discuss with me. Let's discuss this spectrum of all capabilities within data science management. And then let's look at where you are coming from and where you can go into. I want to assure you, it's not only data science that are in high demand. I know what I'm talking about. Data quality experts, data governance experts, metadata science management people are in high demand. So if you find it difficult to go into that one, after 10 years, how do I go into Python and all that? I assure you, there are other areas you can go to. But the starting point is have knowledge.
Have knowledge. There are many other areas to go to. Be convinced of 2023. Oluwatoyin has spoken like an oracle to you. Let's take Jennifer as we round off this event. You are muted, Jennifer.
Sorry, I just realized. Yes, I mean, I completely agree. Knowledge is power. Now, as you know, it was rightfully said, there are many areas of data. Now, what you need to also look about is what transferable skills do you have that can help you transition into the world of data. So if you're somebody who's analytical, if you're somebody that deals with numbers, if you're somebody that deals with systems, there are many ways where you can translate into data. And by doing that, of course, to validate your knowledge and validate your expertise, you have to add knowledge, just as a previous speaker has said. So adding knowledge by, first of all, identifying what area of data do you want to go into, and then use your knowledge, be it from peers, be it from experience, and transition what you know into where you're going. So it's not about it's not about where you are, it's where you're going. And that is the thing for 2023. You can't be fixated on what you know now. What you need to be fixated is, where am I going to, and what can I add to my current expertise to get there? So knowledge is power. I believe networking is power. I also believe that you have to unlearn to relearn its power, because, I mean, you mentioned somebody that has 10 years experience. 10 years experience, you're probably stuck in your ways to a certain degree. So you have to make your mind up to unlearn to relearn. So I believe that using your current experience to transition, be it the skills you've already learned, and identify where in the world of data and tech you want to go into, and then top it off by adding more knowledge to peers and communities like this.
Wow, what a word from Jennifer to round off. Unlearn, relearn. Very apt, very detailed. Don't be fixated on where you're coming from. Focus on where you're going to. And I think that's a sufficient inspiration to enter into 2023. I don't know if you are inspired. I'm very inspired. And that's why we've codified it as Datafied. Datafied is a statement that captures that sense of motivation, energy, commitment, can do to embrace the best of the new year with this level of clarity that our speakers have provided. And of course, the tools that the DSN team also shared with us as a platform to help you get accountable and responsible to building yourself. Our 2023 program will be shared via the email, via your email address in the next few days, so that you're also familiar with all the plans and programs that we have for you in 2023. So I can wish you a very happy Datafied 2023. Don't let anything worry you. Don't be disturbed. Don't be limited. The world is waiting for you. Go for it. Make 2023 the best year ever. And of course, let it be the best version of yourself. So on behalf of the board and management of DSN, previously known as Data Science Nigeria, and also known as Data Scientist Network, we want to celebrate our speakers today. Mr. Olutoyin for such a brilliant body of insight, and Jennifer for such a methodical, structured guidance on how to revamp and take a very great career path. And of course, to Abel and David, who will run us through very structured approach to career building. From DSN, we wish you the best of 2023, and we look forward to seeing you in all of our programs. And for those who want to have direct contact with Jennifer and Olutoyin, they've gladly provided their links, particularly on LinkedIn. Please reach out to them on LinkedIn. These are genuine community builders who are very keen on helping everyone to grow. So I can assure you that they will respond to your questions on LinkedIn. Reach out to them. And of course, the DSN team are also very available. They've shared with you links on how to join AI community, how to be part of our Telegram groups, how to join our mentorship, and of course, how to have the details on the Datafied platform that was shared with us. So I wish you all the best of 2023. Be Datafied, be the best version of yourself. Go for it and make 2023 the best year ever. So on behalf of DSN, happy 2023, and we wish you all the best. Thanks for joining the event, and we look forward to seeing you at the top and to keep hearing good news about you and your career progress. And that is why at DSN, we remain committed to building 1 million AI talents, and of course, translating those knowledge to building AI products for 2 billion people in emerging market. Happy 2023, remain Datafied from DSN, Data Scientist Network Foundation. Bye, and thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks everyone. Do have a lovely day. Thanks, Doc.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks for having me.
Thanks. Enjoy the rest of